to the WU Executive Academy video podcast. My name is Mu-Chun Wang. I'm your host. In this video podcast, we're going to have a discussion about global financial management and the course Advanced Financial Management for Global Markets of our Executive MBA program. Joining us tonight is Professor Kwok. Professor Kwok is Professor of International Business at the University of South Carolina. He received his undergraduate and master degrees in sociology at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. In 1981, he went to the United States to study at the University of Texas in Austin and received his PhD degree with major in international business in 1984. Since then, Professor Kwok has been teaching at the University of South Carolina on both doctoral and master level. He has received many teaching awards from various different programs. Professor Kwok, it's a great honor to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Professor Kwok, could you give us a short outline about your course, Advanced Financial Management of Global Markets, and what are the differences? Are there any differences in the approach to this topic between executives and professionals?
Yes, I'll be happy to explain that to you. Basically, this class is to train executives to understand the finance function within the global environment. And knowing that this target group is mainly executives, so instead of focusing on a lot of functional details, finance details, I usually put a focus on the big picture. First, let me tell you the three major components of the course. The first component is about international investment. So we invest or not invest in a foreign country. Second one, how do you manage risk? There may be currency risk and political risk. How do you manage that? The third one, how do I finance? How do I raise money in order to finance this project? Let me give you one example. For example, a European firm wants to go to China to invest. Then in order to see whether this project is feasible or not, they have to forecast the cash flows and then do a capital budgeting to bring this cash flow to the present value, what we call net present value, or sometimes we call international capital budgeting. The idea is that you will engage in a project where it will pay you good value, positive value, and discard project that's not good. So one of the major functions I serve to the students is that to train them how to value projects, value investment opportunities overseas, example like China. After that, we need to talk about, okay, it's international investment. Then you expose yourself to two special types of risk, namely currency risk and political risk. The renminbi may change against euro, for example. Then how do you protect that? And political situation of China may also change. How do you minimize the risk? So the second component of the course is to tell you how to manage this risk, currency risk or political risk. At the same time, price them already in your valuation model. So that's the second component. And the third component is about financing. In order to maximize the profit, we want to minimize the cost of capital. We don't just finance within Europe. We can also finance globally, either selling bonds or stocks overseas, in New York, in Hong Kong, in Shanghai, in other places. By doing that, you can minimize the cost of capital. When you have a high return and low cost, the return minus cost is your profit. So this way, by doing this, by lowering your financing cost, you're actually maximizing the shareholders' wealth. So these are the three major components of my course.
Okay, I see. And in your opinion, what are the main difficulties or challenges, more like, the executives face when learning global financial management?
It's a good question. When we teach this international financial management or global financial management, we need to be very careful about the target audience. We talk about, for example, those finance majors at the undergraduate level or even at the master levels. We train them in the technical areas, very details, how to do it in details. But now the audience is high-level executives. They can hire people who can do that for them. So what they need to understand is what it means, these concepts, where the numbers come from. They don't have to do it themselves, but they need to understand in terms of what's the meaning of those numbers. And more importantly, they have to tie this finance information to other important functions like marketing, operations, strategy of the entire firm. So when I focus this course, when I teach this course at the executive level, I try to eliminate a lot of technical details, but keep referring to the big picture. How finance is related to marketing, operation. Just want to give you one example. When we discuss foreign exchange risk management, we say exchange rate goes up and down. Then I say, in one example, we'll call managers from marketing, operation. Let's sit together. Now, exchange rate is going to devalue. What should we do together? How exchange rate change the cost structure? How the exchange rate change the market? How much I sell? Let's bring out the best scenario and act upon this. So, in focusing at this level of audience, it's very important to integrate for them so they can see that, oh, finance work together with marketing, with operation, together to make the best business decision.
Mm-hmm. Well, Professor Kwok, as a winner of so many teaching awards and as outstanding performance in teaching, what are your secrets? Would you share with me what teaching techniques do you apply to your classroom in order to keep the attention level high and to ensure and improve the knowledge transfer?
One key word of my teaching technique is engagement. You have to engage the students so that the distance between you and the students is very short. And there's a lot of interactions. Through interactions, they learn. Okay. The method I use is called Socratic method. I usually do not quickly give you the answer. I'll ask students questions. Just like the Greek philosopher, Socrates. He seldom gives answers, but he keeps pushing the students' questions. By answering the questions, they give me answers, and I ask questions more. In this process, I train them how to think. The knowledge can change with daily life, but the principles remain the same. Once they learn how to think financially, they can analyze the business situation. Although it's a new situation, they can analyze and get a better solution to solve the problem. So that's why I use this interaction a lot. Question and answer, Socratic method. This is one thing. Another thing I like to use to let them see this is what you learn is very useful and relevant. That's why I bring a lot of current events to the classroom. I talk about current events, I bring a lot of videos, I show them video segments, and then with that I ask the questions, how is it related to our lectures? And as a manager, how do you react to that? So ask them to think about this. And they can see that there's a very large level of relevance between the class and the current events that's happening around them. I also like to use games, because games help people to really submerge into the positions. And they pretend. For example, there's one game I play. It's called currency game. In this currency game, students are breaking into groups of 3 people each for each bank. Each bank has 3 members. And they pretend to be customers to go trade currency, or the bank sitting there and wait for customers to trade currency, or bookkeeping. And in this game, the students will run around and give quotes and buy currency. By doing this game, the whole class becomes very lively. They just can run around and interact with the fellow students. So the class report, the class management just improved tremendously. And through that process, they also know how to trade currency, or how the mechanism of foreign exchange market works. All right. So I use foreign exchange games a lot. So these are some of the techniques. The key word is engagement. Keep the students always integrate with you and interact with you. Instead of just always listen to your lectures, talk to them, listen to them, and then through the questions, through the answer, ask more questions, and help them to think financially.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Kwok, for sharing your insights and for sharing your opinion on the current situation on the market, and also for giving us a short insight into your module. Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
And this is the end of our video podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, our discussion, and hope to see you again on our next video podcast. Bye-bye.